Hey, beautiful humans. Thank you for tuning into the Love and Life podcast, the podcast where we talk about how to live and love authentically, whatever that might look like to you. I'm your host, Elizabeth Cunningham. Let's dive in. Hello, wonderful, beautiful humans. Thank you for tuning in today. This episode is for anyone whose heart feels really tender right now. I think my heart feels really tender, and I've been talking to a lot of people in the past several days whose hearts also feel very tender. And so I thought that I would just make an episode about that. And I also have a call in 20 minutes, and I haven't really planned this episode out. So I really am just speaking from my heart today. So if your heart feels really tender and maybe your heart doesn't feel tender and you want to save this episode and come back to it again on a day where your heart does feel tender and you need to hear some tenderness for your tender heart. Or maybe your heart feels tender right now and you want to save this episode for another time as well. Or maybe you know someone right now whose heart feels really tender and open and vulnerable, and you want to send this to them. So lots of different options. So I'd love it if you would close your eyes with me. Unless you're driving, please don't close your eyes. Close your eyes with me if you are in a place where that's appropriate, and take a really big, deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Maybe even put your hand on your heart. Take a big, deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. I want you to consider that there's nothing wrong here. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong. Maybe things aren't working. Maybe things are really hard or really challenging. Maybe it feels like it's definitely wrong. That's okay. I'm not saying this to invalidate you. That's okay. But maybe if you can't consider that the situation isn't wrong, I want you to consider that you're not wrong. People are not right or wrong. We're just people. People are not good or bad. You are not good or bad. You are not a bad person. It's not real. It's a binary that doesn't exist. You're just a person. You're a person who is trying your best. You know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. And that's challenging, but it's also okay. It's okay that you're just a person who's trying their best. Reminds me of the Maya Angelou quote, "When we know better, we do better." And it's a very inspirational quote for me. But I also want to take a moment to acknowledge that inside of the quote, "When we know better, we do better," is the inherent presupposition that at one point you didn't know and you didn't do better. You didn't know, so you didn't do better. And that's okay. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that things aren't going well. I'm sorry that things are hard. I'm sorry that things are challenging. I'm sorry that your heart feels so hurt or confused or frustrated or lost. Let me just sit here for a moment with you. Let's just be hurt and confused and sad and lost together just for a moment. We're not going to stay here forever. This isn't despair. This isn't despair. This isn't giving up. This isn't being weak. This is allowing yourself the grace and compassion to be human. Part of being human is being with these challenging emotions, these challenging times. That's part of it. This is all part of it. And this isn't forever. These feelings are not forever. The situation isn't forever. Even who you are right now isn't forever. You were a different person 5 years ago, and you're going to be a different person 5 years from now. None of this is permanent. None of this is permanent. So inside of that knowledge, I want us to come back to the thought that there is nothing wrong here. It's challenging, it's hard, maybe even it is unfair or unjust. But when we start to think about things as wrong or right, we continue to divide. And when we divide each other, we divide ourselves, we divide our heart. We say that there is a way to be and there's a way that we can't be. And that just isn't true. We're allowed to be all of it. And we can be responsible for being all of it. And part of being responsible for being all of it is letting yourself feel the gross, the icky, the uncomfortable. Allowing yourself to just be a human. Big deep breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Let go. Surrender. Trust. There was a time when I was working through feelings of immense anger. And I felt so bad for being so angry. I felt like maybe my anger wasn't justified. I felt like maybe I was wrong or bad for being angry. I felt like maybe I was the one who was wrong, who was bad for being angry. And I was resisting these feelings of anger. And then I was having a session with my coach, and he said, allow yourself to feel the anger as fully as possible. And I just took the coaching. I just sat here and I felt the anger. I felt all the way into the heart of it, just like breathing and seething with anger. My fists bunched up and my brow furrowed and just knots in my stomach. I felt nauseous. I was so angry. I felt all the way into it as hard as I could. And there was a part of me that was like, don't do that. Don't do that. You can't do that. But I just did. I took the coaching and I just felt it as fully as I could. And then there was a moment where it just released. Like having a knot in your muscles. When you have that knot in your muscles and someone comes in and jams their knuckle into your knot and it hurts and you want it to stop and it's terrible. But then there's that moment of release. It was like that. And then on the other side of it, I felt this immense compassion. And not just compassion for myself for being a human, but compassion for the person that I was angry at. It was like lifting a veil. And I was able to see them as a human as well, not just someone I was angry at. And I wanted them to be wrong so badly. I wanted to be right. I wanted them to be wrong. I felt very strongly about that. And then releasing this anger, it's not that it made their actions okay, but it just allowed me to see their humanity. It allowed me to be with my own humanity. It allowed me to have a perspective of compassion and grace. And again, it's not about deserving. It's not about if I deserve that or if they deserve that or anything like that. It was just a moment of pure humanity. I wasn't right or wrong. They were not right or wrong. We were simply humans who had hurt each other. And I could just see that for what it was. Part of healing is allowing yourself to go into places that are scary. Part of healing is allowing yourself to go into places that maybe even parts of you don't want you to go. For whatever reason, there's those parts of you are scared, or those parts of you want to be right, or it's just your ego, whatever it is. Part of healing is allowing yourself to feel into all of those parts, to have the courage to feel into all of the spaces, to allow for your own humanity to be okay. I love you. You're doing it. You're doing the work. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth. You can do this. I know you can do this. I believe in you. I believe in you. I know that you can do this. Say it. Say it with me. I can do this. I can do this. I can do hard things beautifully. I can do hard things beautifully. I'm a human. Everyone else is a human. And we're all just trying to be human the best that we can. It's okay. I'm okay. Take a big deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Maybe your eyes are still closed. Maybe your hand is still on your heart. And just check in. Just check in with yourself. What do you need right now? Do you need more time and space to just feel? Do you need to talk to someone that you love? Do you need to journal? Do you need to meditate? Do you need to go on a walk? Or maybe you're ready to take action. Maybe this today, maybe listening to this was enough to take that big deep breath in and out and go have that hard conversation. Call the person that you've been putting off calling. Do the thing that you've been avoiding doing. I know that it's scary. I know that it's hard. And I absolutely believe in you. I know that you can do this from the bottom of my heart and my soul. I know that you can do this. You've got this. I believe in you. I love you. Take a big deep breath in and out. Now say whatever it is that you need to hear to yourself. Say whatever it is that you need to hear to yourself. Like you are your own best friend. I love you. Reach out. Reach out to me if that calls to you. Reach out to someone who you know will support you. My link is in the show notes. From my heart to yours, we're doing this together. Thank you so much for joining me today. What are your takeaways? What is an action that you're going to take that will have this make a difference in your life? However small, take that action. Don't let this just be a good idea. Make that 1% shift in your life today to live more freely and authentically. If you'd like to learn more about my coaching, my classes, or the events that I host, check out my website at www.elizabethannecunningham.com. Until next time, keep loving.